Welcome back to It's More Than a Game, the podcast where we talk about how basketball shapes you, who it helps you become, and how it challenges us, right? Ultimately, basketball is a tool for growth beyond the court, right? And today, I think we have a really good episode from someone that I've known for a while who's not only building people, but building a legacy in Central Texas. So without further ado, man, Coach Thompson, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you coming in onto the podcast, man. Give a quick introduction for those who might not know who you are. It's a shame if they don't, but let us know who you are.
Well, man, Jalen, I appreciate you having me, man. As you alluded to, I'm Antoine Thompson. I am a native of Austin, Texas, East Austin to be specific. Born and raised in Austin. I currently reside in Dallas, as we'll probably get to. But, I grew up in the rims of Austin and the basketball world. I played in the AAU world with the ATX boys, where you and I had some
Yep.
interactions. You played with our younger groups. I played with the East Austin Yellow Jackets, played for Next Level, and I graduated from Maynard High School, where you and I had great battles while we were at Maynard. You were at Hendrickson, and those good groups that Hendrickson had. I just want to say this: I'm 1-0. I always go off the last matchup. I would say I'm 1-0 because we beat Hendrickson my senior year at Maynard. What a great game! Monte Taylor with the layup at the end of the game to seal it. Epic game at Maynard
Hey,
High
man,
School.
I must have not been playing. That
Hey,
was the issue.
I could have swore both Jalen's were in the game, the Duns were in the game, the Uriahs of the world were in the Tony Thompsons were in I remember this a little vividly,
That's
you know what I'm
funny.
saying? But, no, man, we came up and I think, one of the most competitive times of all Central Texas basketball, period. Because I tell people this all the time. 2011, right? You're
Yep.
2011 too, right? Y'all's class probably was the best class of basketball players that I've ever seen come out of Austin collectively.
And I hate to interrupt you, but I'm so glad that you, as an older head,
Yeah,
said that
yeah.
because people don't want to put respect on 2011. We had some dogs.
I graduated 2 years before y'all, 2009, right? And, like, we had a couple guys that went to play, myself, Thomas Orr, Cole Smith, and all these guys are great coaches right now. What was big fella's name? Travis. We had John Henson before John Henson left.
Yep.
We had a really good class, but when you start talking about that 2011 class, you gotta go, like, really deep into the basketball players that graduated in 2011. Like, it was amazing to see y'all. Like, I was coming back from my brother's games, Ted's games, and just seeing the masses of, like, production that Austin basketball had at that time. I tell people this all the time. I love coaching right now. I love it. I think, I've had one of the top players that graduated and out of the Central Texas area in the history of Central Texas. But if I was able to coach one of those groups in 2011, like any of the areas, like I think we have our first state championship, like no question,
Yep.
because y'all were so talented. I mean, you got, and I'm gonna get back to myself a little bit. Um, but you got yourself, you got Jay Wash, you got, I mean, my brother, you got Junebug, you got Eric McClennan, you got uh
Dion.
Big JQ,
Uh,
you got what's the kid that was at oh man. Oh didn't Westlake have somebody that year that was really good?
Westlake. They had Gus Leeper,
Okay, boom.
tall white
You had
boy.
you had Pflugerville, Dion,
Dion.
boom.
Dion. Yeah.
You got all of those guys, man. Y'all had and I'm forgetting a lot of people, and I'm not forgetting them, but it's gonna
It's
come to
just
me.
a lot.
It
Yeah.
was a lot. It was literally a lot, and like, I think that's the thing that a lot of people just forget about Austin, like, especially me being in Dallas now, like, I hear it. I'm literally having to put these fires out all the time, and I'm like, "No, bro, we got guys coaching at the highest level. We got guys playing at the highest level. Austin basketball," and we can get to this in a little bit. Austin basketball just isn't respected because the adults that we've had in these positions, they just don't know how to work and navigate the waters of what the advocacy needs to look like. That's one of my biggest whys of like why I'm in coaching and why I'm giving back to the game and how now I can provide this knowledge that I now have to these young scholar athletes that, I have the opportunity to experience and indulge and really mold into the men that we now will have leading our daughters and leading our children one day. So, it's a pleasure, going to play college basketball for after graduating from Manor was good. I graduated from Austin College, one of the most prestige institutions that's in the state of Texas in the country. So I tell my athletes this all the time, like, yeah, you see this image of me and like this style of play that I may have. I was always an aggressor. I was always the loudest in the gym. I was always someone that just played with a purpose. And that's the same way that I carry myself as a coach now. But authentically, like I'm a very articulate person. I hold myself on the education piece first. A lot of people try to run away from the education doesn't matter. But no, the education does matter. We got to use the game. We got to use basketball as a tool to manifest where we're going. Like you may not be the smartest person, but you can be the most intellectual person to use who you are to catapult where we're going. And that can be from the education piece, that can be from the networking piece, that can be from the basketball piece, of course. But all of those things are intangibles that I talk about, with my scholars and any of the kids that I come in interaction with. So, it's been fun, man. I started my career in Austin, and we've grown a little bit and took that into now being in Dallas. But yeah, just a little bit about me, man. Just a little bit about me.
That's the podcast right there.
Yeah,
You hit on everything. But no, man, that's so
I feel you. I'm gonna have the same thing happen here in a second. That's what you call life. People, anybody that's watching this, that's what you call life. We are fathers, we are husbands, we are men of many hats. And you never know who might just come down the stairs and daddy and daddy this and daddy that. And it's how we balance these things. And a lot of people don't understand that. But shout out to our wives, shout out to our independent children. Shout out to some of their tablets at times. It's a beautiful day outside. I may say, yeah,
tablets.
but, those are all things that people don't consider. I got a question.
Yeah, yeah.
How is the balance for you as a father, and one who understands the value of family, the value of raising children, and you're still young. You're 30, 32, 30,
Mhm.
32, right?
33.
33, okay, boom, put it out there. How is that balance, and, like, what does that mean to you as a Black father raising young ones and still young enough to where, we're still learning ourselves?
Yeah. Um, I think that last point, right? Like there's been many moments of just like reflection, like thinking about how I grew up, right? Like our parents were doing this for the first time. So that gave me that allowed me to give them a lot of grace because it's hard, it's hard. There are days where I wake up and I feel like, how am I taking care of, a whole family, right? But I always go back to one, how I was raised, and then what the game has done for me, right? When it comes to basketball, as much as I would love for my kids to play basketball and have that kind of passion for basketball as I had,
Yep,
um, that's not a requirement, right? Like I just want them to have a passion for something
yeah,
because I do think having some kind of innate passion and fire for something is going to teach a lot of lessons. So my big thing right now with my kids is just like expose them to everything, whether that's music, sports, keep them in education, right? My son is 5 years old. He's about to be in pre-K, reading at a second grade level, right? But like
okay,
things like that, right? Just giving them that exposure and not holding them back on anything.
yeah,
I think that's the best you can do as a parent. And then also letting them like learn about you and like what you've done,
yeah,
what you experience, what are you doing right now, right? While it may be hard to speak to my kids about like what I do professionally in my job because it's a very technical heavy position. I work with like Fortune 500 companies to do whatever, right?
yeah,
But I tell them like, hey, I was literally just telling my son earlier is like life's not free, man. I gotta work today. I know you're out playing, doing everything, but like I gotta work. I gotta make sure we can eat. I gotta make sure we got a roof over our head and all that stuff. But I think the earlier you e you can expose your kids to all of that, and it doesn't have to be like, "This is what you gotta do," "You gotta save money." I think finance is important, but obviously, like, age appropriate, but I think it just makes life easier years from now, right? So for me, where I'm at right now, as you may know, right, like, I played 2 years of college basketball, I got hurt, kinda fell out, my coach decided to stop playing at West Point just to focus on myself. I went through a lot of mental things, right? Big reason why I have this podcast and this platform. I fell out of love with basketball, and so for the longest, I was like, "Man, fuck this game."
Yeah,
Like, I don't want my kids to experience what I went through. But then, just through reflection, having grown up a little bit, I want them to see what I'm doing. I want them to know the amount of success I've had in the game and, like, where it's gotten me, right?
yeah,
And then, fortunately, I have a wife who's very supportive of everything that I do.
yeah,
But yeah, it can be a struggle sometimes because you're a manager of your household. But I do think if you're focused and if you understand what you're trying to get to, what's the impact that you're trying to make, then I think it's feasible. I
yeah,
really think that, and this is more specific to the game of basketball, that like I envision myself being like a thought person in the game, whether
mhm,
it's sitting down talking to kids, whether it's talking to coaches. How can we influence this grassroots youth development to better the overall environment?
I think your story impacts more. Like for me, in the various levels of kids that I see, like because I've gone through a phase, right? I went from Manor to LBJ to Stony Point to SOC. And in between there, there's this AAU realm and this grassroots side of stuff, right? And the biggest thing that is the most consistent is just hearing the narrative and hearing the dynamics of what if and like how does this work, right? And you had an opportunity. I didn't play Division 1 basketball, but I played college basketball. You've played Division 1 basketball, but you experienced something that altered the first goal, that
Yep.
altered ultimately what the passion was and what the why was, right? So now we have to pivot, right? We got to use that pivot and we have to challenge ourselves to understand what can the indifferences be and what are the similarities. And I think for me, if I had an individual like you come speak to any of those groups that I've had the pleasure of coaching, your story would manifest the most because you have the experiences on both sides. You have it when it's good, you have it when it's bad. You have it now to where how did you respond? We talk about that all the time. How do we handle our hard? And I tell the boys all the time, like, you have to handle hard in a sense of this is life. And at some point, this basketball is going to be deflated. The ball may not stop moving, but it's going to stop. There's going to be less pressure, and there's going to be less pressure in the ball, and it's going to be less pressure. And at some point, that ball's going to stop. And when it stops, who are you? And how did you handle the hard? And that is the most pressing thing with your story, right? Because at some point it stopped. When it stopped, who did you become and who are you and like where can you continue to go, right? So
Mm.
I think that's a lot of things that like we don't shy away from any of my coaching staffs or any of the individuals that like I have the honor of like coaching. Like we're not going to shy away from the hard conversations. And then I know in today's society a lot of people want to shy away from that because of the social stigma or because of the I just got to protect his feelings and the mental toughness. I think that needs to be in the root of building a scholar athlete. Like you talk about your son. Like my son's 8, right? And he's a heck of an athlete. Both mom and I played college basketball. Summer was really good in basketball, right? And she was really good in track. all of these things, but I don't force him to play basketball, but I force him to be a competitor, right? So, like,
Yep.
he's heavy in baseball. We had a moment yesterday where, like, there was an excuse, and I'm like, "No, what you're not gonna do is create an excuse. Let's be solution oriented right now."
Yep.
And we're starting this at 8. And I think we've derived away from that. Like, we've derived away from the hard and not building them up through the hard, right? Like, yeah, can I be a tough ass? Absolutely. Like, that's just who I am. But in the same token, I've even had to grow and learn this. Like, I gotta love you within this, and we gotta grow through this together. But for me to just give you an answer and not be solution oriented, like, there's no critical thinking in that. There's no processing in order for us to get out of this dynamic of what we're saying is it may be a halt. So, like, your story, those are the stories that, like, this is why this podcast is great. This is why people need to continue to hear you, because without it, like, we just we're in a, like, revolving circle of,
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, this next generation, this next generation, this next generation." But it ultimately starts with us as the adults.
No, absolutely. It's all about the leaders. It's like how do we set up this environment to just ensure that these kids have as many opportunities as they can on the floor or off the floor, right? You talk about having those hard conversations with your boys. Let's transition into your time at Stony Point, and I'm gonna be real. As much as I love watching high school basketball, I was coming to watch you because hearing both sides, right? Like, here's some people like, man, he's too hard on them kids. Why is he yelling at them like that? All
Yeah,
this, and that. But one, like, you don't understand the dynamics within a locker room. You don't understand, like, maybe where these boys are coming from.
yeah.
Most of these kids need that pressure, right? Because when they get to that next level, even if they do, they're going to be hurt. It's a totally different landscape, right? You played college basketball. The jump from high school to collegiate sports, man, man,
I tell you this, the one thing that if you speak to any of the coaches that have recruited my kids from AAU or high school, LBJ and Stony, I'm gonna just say that the biggest thing that they say is they can handle hard coaching and that they're ready to go. Just from the, like, intricacies of what we prepare them for. Like, if I showed you a practice script right now, is probably the most detailed high school practice script that you'll see, and I bank myself on that because those are the things that, like, I mean, you just talked about it. Like, daddy has to work today. Daddy has to daddy has to be productive for us in order to continue the lifestyle and the vision that I have for our family. And that's the same thing that I envision with our practices. It's the lifestyle of hard work. It's the lifestyle of communication. It's the lifestyle of managing various things on a day to day and your time management and focusing on the little details. When we focus on the little details, I can hold you accountable to you not doing and managing those details. So when someone comes, I tell people this all the time, and I've had, like, a real hard time with understanding it because I took the Stony job at 30. Yeah, I had just turned 30. I
yeah.
had just turned 30.
You were there for 2 years, right?
3
Or
no, I
three,
was there for
three,
4 years. I
four
was there for
years?
4 years. I was there for 4 years. 3 years as a head coach. One that first year I was an assistant, and that was the winningest season that first year. Because y'all played Stony Point when you were in high school. They were buns. They were
I mean,
buns.
they had their class of 2010 was
They were
good.
talented. That was Him and Joel and
Yep, yep,
Big Fella. Yeah, I mean, they were super talented. But you go back to the leaders, give me that team. Give me that
yeah,
team. We running it up. But I go back to this. We live in a society that is so judgmental, and I'm judged off of 32 and not the 90 hours before then that
yep,
you don't see. that you don't see. You don't see the hard conversations that I've had with Josiah Mosley and making sure that Josiah has done everything to take care of his body, make sure that he's eating right, make sure that he gets his AP calculus work done. I've had that conversation with Josiah, and then I had the same conversation with Uzziah Bunton, and just
Yep.
in a different context of Uzi, make sure you take care of your body. Hey, did you get your extra 120 reps that I told you to do at 8 a.m.? Oh, you forgot because you're a teenage young man that's still trying to manifest and still trying to do other things with yourself. And then I got to have a different conversation with Landon Short, who
Yep.
Landon Short is such a great kid, but Landon Short does everything by the book. And if you don't tell him by the book, he's not going to do it. And then when you see the 32 minutes, he's on them hard. Well, if you watch these guys that are playing in this tournament right now, that is the highest level of basketball for what you say your child wants to do, they're going to be on them even more. And it's going to come from like 8 people. Like,
Yeah.
so
The whole damn staff.
the whole damn so the reality is, if I'm not preparing you right now for what your goal is and what your family's goal is, I'm failing you. This is not me trying to belittle a child. This is not me trying to undermine and you it's it but I go back to this. This is the dynamic, the difference between Central Texas and Dallas. Up here, it's a norm, and no one, I mean, no one has an issue with it. If it is, it's very rare, and it's like, hey, just scale back a little bit. But in Central Texas, I was the worst person in the world to most people who just really didn't understand. But
Yeah.
in the same sense, I want you to think of the success. We lost 8 games in 3 years. Like, we won 105. We won 105 games in 3 years. We lost 8 of them, and 2 of them were to the same team that went undefeated in Dallas. And I have the respect from these guys like crazy. I never lost in Central Texas.
Yeah.
I never did. I never
I'm gonna
did.
go.
So
I'm gonna come back to that real quick. Just for the audience, right? So Uzziah Bunton, he's at South Dakota, right?
South Dakota just
I think
got in the portal. He
yeah,
led all freshmen in assists in his conference this year.
yep,
13, 5, and 2. Great freshman year.
yep. Landon Short, Pitt, right? Pitt.
Landon Short, Pittsburgh State, started the last 10 games at Pittsburgh State, had a remarkable year. He shot at 39% from 3 as a freshman,
Yep.
averaged 21 minutes a game.
Yeah. And then Josiah Mosley, Gatorade Player of the Year a couple years ago.
You know, and I want people to understand this. Josiah was not Josiah that we eventually seen when I first met him. When I first met him his freshman year, man, he was timid. He never was the, if I didn't coach Josiah how everybody seen, he never would have got to Mr. Texas basketball. And his parents will tell you that today. He never would have. He never would have. He took
Talk that
the
shit down.
coaching. He took the coaching and put it on his back. And now look at him now. He's going to play in the NCAA tournament as a 4 seed, as a 6 man, because he broke his foot this past summer. He might have been starting right now, but I mean, just look at him. And then you go, I mean, Billy White. No one wants to talk about that. Billy White. Billy White was the number 2 player in this class in the state of Texas. Top 100. Another top 100 kid who, okay, now he's at SMU. I'm not going to disclose the number that he's getting. SMU said he was ready to go. It was down to SMU and TCU before he reclassed, and they said, Coach, he's ready to go. Bo Ogden, another who's going to be, hey, I just want to say this for anyone that's watching this. as much as y'all want to say this hard coaching is crazy, I've had the Central Texas Player of the Year the last 5 years. Just FYI, for anyone that's
What do they do?
watching this, yeah, clock it, clock it. And all of them handled the hard Bo Ogden, who's gonna be at Texas next year, and everyone can go watch
Face that.
him. I cuss Bo out more than say, buddy, say, you better get right. You better get right or sit down right here. And it was understanding. Tiki Mordine, man. Tiki playing the HT right now, man. Tiki, man, his parents thank me all the time for just the accountability. And see, a lot of people, that's Jalen, I think that's the problem. We have gotten away from accountability. Like, this is not me getting on these kids. I'm holding them accountable. We've already discussed this. I told them that this staggered is going to come from the left side, from the deep corner, and if 23 turns his body to the left side, he's going to be the first screener. If you get this wrong, I get to hold you accountable. If you get it wrong, I get to hold you accountable. On the ball screen, I already told you how we're going to guard it. We've repped it. We talked about it. We watched it. And then I wrote it out for you and I put it on the scout. So if you get it wrong, the 32 minutes that you come see, yes, I'm going to hold them accountable. That's just going to happen. It's going to happen, people. But you don't see the 7 films that we've broken down. And see, that's another thing, bro. What we're doing, I didn't realize this, what we're doing, coaches throughout the state are not doing. I didn't know this. I thought this was just a norm. Like, I thought what we do is no, bro. Like, scouts, film, the reps in practice, the simulation to everything. I mean, we're treating,
There when it comes to like basketball leadership,
yeah,
there are a lot of frauds, in my opinion, right? There are a lot of frauds, and then especially like you brought up Central Texas versus Dallas, right?
yeah,
What Dallas has done so well for a very long time, ever since we were playing in
yep,
AAU at a young
yep,
age, they've always had a system that benefited the entire city.
yep.
Come to Austin, right? You don't know where to go for basketball, right? You just
No,
don't know because everybody's trying to do their own thing, right? Everybody wants all the players. Everybody wants all the shine. Everybody wants to make money with NIL. Everybody wants to say, hey, I got the top talent. But could Austin basketball could be so powerful, right?
yep,
If we all just created that system, just that community
yep,
where kids can just trust.
yep,
It doesn't matter where you go, you're going to develop. You're going to develop the right way because we have a gang of leaders who have done this
yep,
in a myriad of ways, whether they've gone professional, whether they've gone D1, D3, JUCO, NIA, whether they're overseas, whether
yep,
they're, coach with the resume, right? We've all done this, right? And we talked about it. Like we come from an era where we had some hoopers, we had some basketball players, some
yep.
very successful basketball players. So like, why can't we just
I
do
can
it the
tell
right way?
I can tell you right now, man, it is, and because I experienced this at Stony, right?
Mhm.
The dynamic of not no, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna be plain Jane with it, is we still live in this era of East and West and black and white. Like, we, instead of us trying to all educate ourselves and all sitting down at the table as men, we still allow the confines of our environments to restrict the growth of what you're trying to mention and where Austin basketball could be. I've tried to sit at the table with guys from the west side of town, and I was told no. I've tried to sit at the table with the guys from further north, and I was told no. But the guys that I can sit down at the table with are all of the guys northeast of Austin, Texas. And we know the schools that are northeast of Austin, Texas. And we can even stress that up to Hutto. We can go that far. And I've sat down with those guys because I took it from the lens of the ASAC perspective, right? Send me all the best. We have the biggest platform in Central Texas. There's Nike, and I think Adidas is above Nike because just the quality of basketball. Like, Nike has really elite athletes and they're really good scorers. But Adidas has all the intangibles of what college basketball player. The Miami, Ohio kid last night,
Yep. Uh,
Fisher, whatever his name was, a light
yeah,
skinned
yeah,
kid. He's
yeah.
an Adidas kid, freshman who owned his role. He had Duke, he had Florida State, he had Syracuse, he had way bigger stuff. Go to where you fit, go make plays, and look at him last night as a freshman making remarkable plays last night, remarkable plays. But let me get back to this. We have the platform for us, right? I want to get the best kid from I don't care what school it is and let them play with us. If they're not good enough for us, I'm going to send them to this group, right? Because this group is to us, we believe is the next best thing for Austin basketball. Okay. I try to have these conversations with this pod, this pod, this pod. Well, we gonna let the kid make the decision. Well, when we let the kids make the decision, that's where we see the filtered.
They don't know,
They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't
especially in
know.
a world where we live in. Like with this, we got this all the time. We got this. So we see the highlights, right? We see where everybody's going. We see the amount of money these kids are making now. So it's like, oh, I gotta do this. I gotta go to this program. I gotta go to this school.
Yep.
No, that's not how it works. I gotta go train with this person. No, you have to find the best situation for you, right?
How do you feel about the training world
The
in
training, I
training?
think it's
Yeah.
fucked up. I mean, it's
Okay. All
it
right.
goes
Tripping.
it goes back to just everybody's so segmented. Everybody wants their own bread, right? Everybody wants their own
Whoa.
shine. But I think I could probably say this in a totally better way, but there are a lot of trainers out there, and I've talked to a lot of trainers that don't know what they're doing. Like how you say there's high school basketball coaches who don't know what they're doing. It's the same thing. I also think it's like you need to focus on like are you teaching kids, like elementary school kids? Are you training middle school, high school kids? Are you training professional kids? Unless you're like a huge academy, like you need to be niche down into one age group for one, right?
Yeah.
Because you're teaching elementary school kids these three dribble move combos, step back into a reverse layup. Like
They don't even have the strength to get the ball up after
you
the
shouldn't
after,
even be teaching high school kids that, right?
yeah.
Like most of
I,
these kids don't have the fundamentals,
bro,
right?
I tell people this all the time. I tell people this all, and I mean to cut you off. I'm gonna be the when people want to train with me, there's no training. We're gonna do fundamentally sound shot making, dribbling, and defense. Like one parent asked me, like, are we really gonna work on defense? Well, do you have to play defense in the game of basketball? Yes. So yeah, we're gonna do some defensive shit. We're gonna learn angles and we're gonna learn the proper way to play the game. Yeah, and that's what we need to get back to.
It's IQ, right? At the end of the day, if we're not teaching kids how to make decisions in certain situations, then no matter what kind of skills you teach, it's not going to work, right? Because you're not going to do the same drill or same move you've been working on day after day after day in every situation, right? It's situational dependent, and I think that's where kids fall off, right? Is like they step into an environment where it's like, oh shit, there's some ballers here. Like maybe you're at an independent team, you're in a good tournament, and there's some
Yep,
some ballers there because there's still
yep,
some ballers there. You're like, why are they so good? It's because they understand the game, right?
yep,
Because basketball IQ is going to carry you way further than your skill, right? You,
yep.
you can always teach skill. You can always teach that. But if your basketball IQ is not there, what's the point of playing, right?
Those are the guys that fall off.
Yeah.
Just being fully transparent.
So I talk to a lot of kids about mentality. I would love to coach. I would love to train, but I really think like this is 99% of the game, right?
For sure.
And you mentioned it with Josiah, right? Like when you first got to him, like he was not there, you know.
No.
Like I'm sure physically he was okay, but like the timidness, being aggressive, right? People don't know how to tap into. I made a video the other day about having that alter ego. You know me, right? Like I am a quiet person. I'm very
Yeah,
reserved. I'm
yeah,
introverted, but on
yeah.
that court, like
You're mean. It
I,
was
I
it
was a
was
different person,
yeah,
you know.
I tell like I used to tell people this about you, bro, because it came up. the conversation came up of like the top point guard. Oh, it's recently. Like they're talking about.
Donald Dath
Yeah, bro. I'm
causing
telling
mayhem in the city.
I'm telling Dallas. I'm like, bro. Jalen was just he just competed differently, and like you allowed yourself to to you were like a you were mystique in different games. Like some games you would just go cook somebody for 26, and I seen it. And then another game you're like talking shit to people, and I'm like, that's different. By the time you were a senior and the way you were leading those guys, I was like, that's why he's that. Cause I ain't gonna lie, that when they were saying you were going D1, I'm like, and then I came back, you're like, no, I seen you, your 17U summer, your junior summer, like going into your senior year. I'm like,
With
oh, yeah, you
Farley.
get chicken. You get into the chicken. Cause y'all were playing Texas Ambassadors. And I was like, ooh, yeah, all right, that's special. And then when you got to West Point, I'm like, all right. Your freshman year, I'm like, okay, it solidifies it. But you gotta have that. You gotta have that. My son's like you. He does. It's so weird. Like I be wanting him to like have my energy and like my ego. Like, nope, he's his mom. But he gets out on the field in the court and like, oh, maybe you do have it in you a little bit. Like you just gotta be a dog. Like, and then when it's done, shit, move around. Like daddy right here. You ain't nobody gonna mess with you. You good. You good. You solid. You solid.
Appreciate
But
that respect.
yeah, no, bro. Like you got it. You one of the tops that didn't come up out of the city for sure. Like people don't. Dog, if you went to play college basketball, you got to be in there. I don't give a damn. I don't care what you're talking about. It's hard. It's hard to earn a college scholarship. It's hard to earn it.
Yeah.
It's 1%. I think it's like that is like 1.6% people go play college basketball.
I
It's
walked onto a college team where we had 4 freshman guards,
yep,
right? And we had maybe about 2 or 3 upper class guards.
yep,
One, and this is another story in itself. Like I wasn't ready for that. Like I thought in my mind I was gonna like from the jump, like I'm that guy.
yep,
Um, but I was like, bet I got to work.
yep,
I got to work. Any team, right? Like they can come and tell you, a coach can come to your house and be like, hey, like we need you. You're gonna be our starting guard. You're gonna be the man. That can change. 2 seconds into you stepping foot on campus. So my mindset was like, cool. I gotta clearly be better to go get that starting spot, and I did. You know what I'm saying? Like it took me maybe 2 games to get a starting spot. Then I started having issues with my knee, but like I think kids need to understand that like one, you can't believe these dreams that some of these grown adults be telling you. Because
yeah,
at the end of the day, they care about their organization. They want to win games, right?
yeah,
But two, it's like it's not going to stop. The work is not going to stop. You're always competing, healthy with your teammates, right? But you always got to be in the lab working on yourself, right?
yep,
And, that's something that I experienced, right? Going through the injury, dealing with some stuff outside of the court. So like, I decided to take a step back because I wasn't able to give all myself to the game,
yep,
right? And then when we talk about identity with basketball, and the reason why I love just like the concept of having that alter ego,
uh-huh,
it makes it a little easier for people to kind of take a step back a little bit when the game is over, right? Because I see a lot of my peers who were just 100% focused on the game, not building themselves up outside
yep,
of the game, using the
yep,
game as a tool.
yep.
And what are they like?
What
What
are
are
they
they
doing
doing?
now?
It's
What are
tough,
they doing?
right?
Man, that's so unfortunate, bro. Like I tell people this all the time. Like you have to be a dynamic individual. And when I say dynamic, like we got to create someone and something that when it stops or like when you don't have this anymore, you now have this to rely. Like I was just talking about the summer last night. I'm like, man, I might get into some cybersecurity or something, man. Like because I'm like tired of people thinking I'm this terrible person. I'm like, I'm not a bad guy, bro. I was voted class clown at Maynard High School in 2009, man. Like I'm a funny dude, but you expect me to be this nice guy when I'm trying to kick someone's ass over here? Like, no, my kids know this. Like, they handle it. And I think we gotta allow ourselves to be more, and we also have to like have these conversations, like be vulnerable to the conversations of, okay, I feel like you're not doing enough, and I feel like you're content with this right now. Like, how can we expand this? And I think just the education of that, excuse me, the education of that alone can change the narratives for so many.
Yeah. It's funny, just quick sidetrack. Talk about like, people thinking that you're mean and a bad guy. So at West Point, like Coach K went to West Point. Like we have a really good relationship with Duke. And so we started having like practices with them, joint practices with them. And
Yep.
Coach K is my all time favorite coach. Duke,
Yep.
all time favorite school. That was my dream school. But just sitting in that environment, right? On face value, like people who don't understand the game, they're like, Coach K is a great guy. Like he's a solid guy, respectful, he talks right, whatever. You sit in that practice, that man's cussing everybody out.
Bro, I just seen a clip
Everybody out.
Tatum that he said Coach K cussed him out from the Rudy to the Tootie, like damn near every day. I'm
Yeah.
like, parents, you want your child to go play for who? You want him to go do what? This is minimal. This is minimal, man. Like we have to, and that's why, like, an individual like yourself who's experienced it, who knows it, who has the education behind it. Parents like Summer and I, like, man, we tell anybody that Brandon or Brooklyn gonna pay for, coach them hard, cause they can handle it. And if you not, then this ain't the place for us to be. This ain't the
How
place
do
for.
you so, like, I'm sure you've had conversations with parents about your coaching style or, like, just your overall, you know, methodology, right? Have you experienced any parents who didn't agree with you?
Yeah,
Um,
always.
and how do you navigate that? Because there are a lot of parents who, as you know, think they know everything,
Yep.
but never done shit, right? So how do
Um,
you how do you have those conversations?
the conversations are like, what is the end goal? Right. And we have to look at the end goal and not the right now. And a lot of times we just giving them a reality of like, if you expect your child to be prepared, the preparation for what a college athlete is, or a strong husband one day, they're going to have to go through something. And the end goal is for them to understand that this is not me. This is not me. I love your child. Like, I'm investing in your child. I'm spending more time with your child than I am with my own children. So this is not me being mean to them. This is me trying to get you to understand that they won't make it if you don't handle this. And like, we have the hard conversations. But secondary to that is like, a lot of times I don't even want to talk to the parents. Like, this is no like pimp situation. You have your child here with me because you know what we can do. All right. So if you trust that, then trust it and allow us to be in a relationship that builds and honors where they're going. But in today's society, like, it does get tricky. Like, these parents, they just don't get it because they don't want to educate themselves. But like, I think that what they should do, like, I allow my parents to come watch practice. Come watch the practice. And you can see everything that we asking Lil Johnny to do. And if Lil Johnny don't do what I'm asking him to do, then there comes accountability. If I'm not teaching Lil Johnny the right way, then hold me accountable to where Johnny understands it. That's where I think I've had to grow in the last couple years of like, okay, like this year, I'm gonna speak on sock this year. This was a different year for us,
Yeah.
right? Like, it was not to the standard of what it's been the last 4 years. However, I didn't do a good job of understanding these players, this year's team. I didn't do a good job with that. I held myself accountable more so on, okay, I have to pivot and then I have to adapt and I have to understand who they are. And I had to like really change my scheme and uh perspective on like how I can present information to certain players. So I think that's another thing, that allowing yourself to be a student of the game still, be a learner, and be a critical, be your biggest critic. Like I was my biggest critic. Like, no, you are not doing a good job right now. You are not doing a good job, and it's not the kids. If 1 through 12 doesn't get it, it's not the kids, it's you. And I think a lot of coaches don't take that perspective in trying to grow for their program because it's only one way. And if that way doesn't work, then they're going to lose and then the finger pointing starts. But like I took a lot of like accountability this year that I did not do a good job with things that I've normally have been rooted in. So, it's an interesting perspective with all of it.
It's a perfect segue. Like, so going from, an environment like Stony Point, Round
Yep.
Rock, Texas,
Yep.
to a very established program. Like they have lineage, they have history.
Yeah.
How do you make that transition? To your point, sure, players have issues, players have problems, but like they're already in that culture, they're already in that environment. So like, how do you coming from Austin, right? Vastly different environment, and make a not like, I don't wanna say, like, making an immediate impact, but, like, just fitting in, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll tell you this, the culture at SOC is unwavering different than Austin alone. Like the closest thing possible that you can compare SOC to anything in Austin would be LBJ. Like maybe. But the culture at SOC allows you the rich tradition of success, just puts the pressure on success. And like, I think the biggest thing for me was, how do I allow myself to not fit, but adapt to the culture with my implementation and my culture and my philosophy compared to the rich tradition that's been at the school, because the expectation is to win. The
yep.
expectation is to win state championships. And if you don't do that, then there's accountability that comes with that. And for me, it's been so much of a, okay, I think the biggest thing for me this year was just the learning. Like I had to learn the way of the worlds of soccer. I had to learn the 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 way in which people want to navigate what the expectation is here. And now I got it. Like I got it after this. I told everybody at the state tournament last year, I said, this was the year for you to get
See
me.
you there.
Yeah, like you got me this year and I get it now. But it's like anybody else that steps into a new environment. Like I was just like, okay, I didn't know that. That's different. I got it now, but you can't get me with that twice, right? And that's the like growth in me. But making that transition, I mean, this fits my characteristics.
Yeah.
So when people go to the games, they're like, man, I like that. The football coaches, bro, they're always in football coming off of 5 straight state championships, 3 in the last 5 years. The football coaches are like, Thompson, you could be tripping, fam. I'm like, nah, bro, just me. I'm just doing, I do what y'all do on the basketball court, like you do on the football field. But I think these are just um, these are my characteristics, and I think it really fits me. I think a lot of people want to see what more we got, and we do have more. Um, a lot of people also are in fear of me leaving. For other things, but I'm here, man. And I'm locked in, and I think just I want to get Sock hasn't won a state championship since 2009. Since they went 5 in a row. They won
Yeah.
5 in a
Yep.
row. when we were in high school and stuff. Well, you were coming into high school, but yeah, man, I want to get back to that because just the community that supports winning at sock, bro, it's so different. It's so different. It's so different. I'm telling you, Jay, like it's unbelievable how much you see and it's black people that like want to see you win. And I'm like, this is this is great. This is great. Like this is what it's supposed to feel like. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's awesome. Jonathan Bradley, right? Like
Yeah.
the dude that I've seen a lot of clips on him. Like
Yep.
that kid can ball.
Yeah.
Going into next year, like he's about to be a senior, right?
Correct, correct.
Him as the leader,
Yeah,
which I assume coming into next year.
true.
What kind of squad are you looking at? Or maybe what are some things you're gonna change as far as like you say you got it now. You know
Yep.
what you're gonna do.
Um,
What is that gonna look like?
we start off season coming back from spring break, and the biggest thing is increasing our shooting percentage. We shot 33% from 3 this year, and my goal for us is to shoot it above 46% next year. So, we're gonna be shooting the basketball a lot, starting Monday. We only had one guy shoot the ball above 22% from 3, this year, and that's not who we are. We only average 52 points a game, and my goal is to be averaging 78.9 to 82 points a game, next year, so we're gonna play a lot faster. Now they have an opportunity to experience a full off season. They didn't have we got the job so late,
Yeah, yeah,
they didn't get a full off season, right? So, like, now the off season will encompass us being in shape, us molding our body. Like, I'm really gonna put about 10 to 12 pounds on these guys, like our dieting. We're going to start our nutrition stuff coming back from spring break as well. And for a guy like John, you averaged 22.3 points a game this year, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. I need that to increase at least by 2 to 3 with everything in every point that we're doing, right? That
yeah.
and just from a leadership capacity. But beyond that, I need John to understand that in order for us to be successful, your habits have to be great every day. And I'm not talking about basketball. I'm talking about what you put in your body physically, mentally. I'm talking about how you approach the day. Are you communicating? Like he's an introvert, he's a natural introvert. But the communication that you provide to your teammates is greater than what I provide to them on a day to day basis. So I'm going to challenge him with that from the leadership capacity. Him and another one of my guys that are coming back, I text them every day, just seeing where their mentals are, seeing what type of habits they're approaching. Today, like the message I sent to them today is real simple. You are what you put in you. And if you're not watching these games, you can't say that you want to be this Division 1 basketball player if you're not watching the Division 1 basketball players. And that was our message today. So, just the leadership component of like, I need you to be more. And does it suck? Yes. But if you want to be the next, and I'm not even comparing you, if you want to be one of the individuals that have come from my lineage, these are the things that they've done. I'm telling you what they've done. If you take all of that plus who you are, you become more. So, all of those things I've been communicating with John. Such a skilled young man, very talented. He doesn't shoot it well enough though. And I told him that you got to be able to shoot the basketball a little better. We're going to work on his speed and agility as well. There's always room to grow. And when we had our exit meetings, that was the first thing that they were like, "Cause I ain't never done no exit meetings." I'm like, "Well, we're treating this like a college level, bro. Like
Yeah.
every level you go
The
to, you're
fact of
going to
you
have."
just texting them over spring break, like I
Yeah,
think
like I've
that
been texting the boys every day, like some form of communication, and I think those are the intangibles that like they understand. Like he really does care. I'm like, it's bigger than hoop, bro. Like it's way bigger than hoop. It's way bigger than hoop.
man, you just Coach Tim Farley, man,
Yeah,
like. Dude, I think in my experience, right, he didn't coach us, but what he did do was make sure we were good, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he cared innately about every single one of us. Like, we had myself, we had Malcolm Canada, we had Avery, we had KK, we had, a couple of kids from Killeen,
yep.
Duran from Tybee, man, like,
Oh, yeah, I remember that kid.
most of us went D1, at
Yeah,
least starting 5,
yep,
and, while I wouldn't say we were the best coached. Like, he vouched for us. He
yep,
communicated with us.
yep,
He called us out, cussed us out, you know what I'm saying? There's a time where we're supposed to go to nationals and, like, Malcolm and Coach Tim were just arguing, getting ready to fight the
yeah,
day before we were supposed to go fly, but, like, just the type of relationship is amazing to have, right?
yep,
'Cause and I remember, sitting in my dorm room at West Point, depressed as hell. It's
yep,
like, "Man, fuck this, fuck all this, fuck this team. I don't wanna do this no more." And he calls me randomly. He was like, "AJ, you good?" I was like, "Nah."
yeah,
And he was like, "Well, I got some schools that still want you."
yeah, yeah,
And so I took a week to think about it. Ultimately, obviously, I said no, but just like, more times than not, those relationships fall off,
yeah.
right? Like, once a kid leaves
Well,
your program, some of these
it's
coaches are like, "All right, my job's done."
it's crazy you say that, man. I just text Josiah because they play tomorrow. I say, "How are your mentals? How you feeling? Love your kid. We're in your circle. Be ready to go." I mean, it's the biggest platform. Like, I did the same thing with Bo. I had 2 kids playing the state championship, 6A level last week, Bo Ogden and KC for Little M, and I'm like giving them just gems. Like, bro, it's the relationship. Like, if you don't have a and I think that was another thing, man. One of my biggest things to my coaches in our exit meetings was, what are some team building things that we can do to mold these guys together? Like, we weren't really together. There were too many divisions within the team. So starting next Friday, we're gonna have team building concepts every week. Every week. Like, we have to be closer. We have to be more connected. And I think if I put myself in position to build our relationships, it's just gonna manifest everything. I mean, it's so important. It's so important.
That's awesome. So I need some advice, right? So I want to plan to do like some kind of exposure camp, like a day for like kids who aren't being recruited, who have the potential. My target is like rising seniors and then unsigned seniors, right?
Uh-huh.
My thing with that is like I don't want to just throw these kids on the court and they just play all day, right? Like I'm thinking about like breaking it out into sessions like this is some kind of like just skills assessment,
Yep.
vertical, stuff like that. But then like college style drills,
Yep.
short games, half court,
Yep.
right? So they feel that. They feel like the intensity of what a college practice could be.
Threes and fours. Don't
Yep.
go fives. Threes and
Yep.
fours. Put it in a situation to where it's dynamic. You're only working left side of the floor versus a drag ball screen, how you defend the ball screen, and we're focusing on the communication and focusing on reading the second level defender, right? Those are the things that, like, we need to educate ourselves on. Keep going.
Yep.
I got some
Yeah.
ideas
So
for you already.
and then obviously at the end of it, right, we'll run full games, whatever. A big piece though is education, right?
Oh,
Like I
there you
think
go. There you go.
education is so huge. Like I want to have like a 45-minute, hour-long session where we're just talking to them. Like this is one, we can tie our experiences into it, but like this is what you see going from high school to the college level, right?
Yep.
Especially in today's landscape, it's not linear.
Yep.
It's the furthest thing from linear anymore,
Yep.
right? Like
Yep.
you might have to go to JUCO, you might have to go to NIAA, but that does not mean that your journey is going to stop. You know what I'm saying? We look at NIL, like we have teams bringing back professional players. They bring in we have the transfer portal. They're scouting for more developed older kids.
Okay, so Uzi goes in the portal on Tuesday. The amount of, like, since we've been on this call a minute and an hour and four minutes, I've gotten 3 phone calls from 3 different college coaches right now, just trying to figure out what is it going to take to get him. Like, so for a high school kid, and when you say the education piece, I think you need to include the parents in this, right?
Yep,
Like,
hundred
they need
percent.
They need to understand that for the last 2 days, everything that we're not going after the high school kid unless you're top 100. That's just the reality of this. If you're not top 100 or you're not top 50 coming from a Gasso ranking, no one's looking at you. So what are the outliers that put you in position to be recruitable? What makes you more marketable? And you say education, like you gotta put in the lens of the college scope. It may be too late for a rising junior or a unsigned senior because those GPAs are stuck now. But I just talked to, and I can disclose this because he's good friends of mine. I just talked to Troy yesterday, and they're
They
saying
play
like
right now.
they're playing right now. His GPA isn't high. I can't touch him. Like the two JUCO kids that we have coming in, they have the credits already. They're good. I can't do anything with that, right? So just the educational capacity of it. I think you also should put in the lens of the financial literacy piece of it, right? And that could come from NIL perspective, and that can come from you may have to pay something to just play if you want to play, right? Because receiving a full scholarship and people need to, Jalen, please tell people you do not sign 4-year scholarships. That's not a real thing. I don't know where we got that from or who said you don't sign 4-year scholarships. So like we need to really start with the educational piece of breaking this thing down. And I would love, man, you do that. If I'm available, I would love to be there to support something that is so needed for a product that we are trying to create for a society, man. And there's so many knowledgeable people. No, let me not say that. There are some knowledgeable people that know this scope of the land, but there are so many people that think they know, and those are the people that are being listened to more. And we need to just create like a platform like this to where they can see it, they can hear it, they can envision it, and then create a platform like you said with the showcase, do the combine stuff, put them in set recognition situations. Put them in 5-on-5 situations, but teach during the 5-on-5. What did you see off of that pin down? Why didn't you make that one more read right there? Teach and then conclude with boom, you know, okay, we're going to give you this lens and take notes during it. Make it interactive. Make them put put the accountability on them. When I say them, parents and athlete. Because if you're just coming in there and I just get to sit and I'm just listening, we all know 10 minutes in, you done. But if I'm interactive and I'm putting the accountability on all of us, now we're working to retain.
Bro, I mean, as a undersized guard
Yeah,
coming up in Austin, I spent time in a few of them camps.
yeah,
Most of them were useless. Most of them wasted my damn time
terrible.
because of that, right? Like they just throw kids on the court. There's no education. There's no like, hey, let's take some ownership. Like we're not here to make sure you get an offer or make sure you go to school. We're here to provide you with those opportunities so you can learn how to get there,
Right.
right? If we can get coaches to come, great. But if not, like we're going to teach you as much as we can, and you got to take that and use it, however you think you can use it for your situation.
Yes, sir.
You're so I think I got a pretty decent team, right? You're the first outside of my team to know this. We got the flyers ready. I'll send them to you so you can check it out. Obviously, would love your advice and feedback. But I got Malcolm Canada. That's my lead trainer, right? And so we're working on getting folks in. I don't know if you know Real Goat Sports, Devin Sams. He
Sam,
focuses on,
that my
yeah,
dog. That
yeah.
my
So
dog.
I've been working with him to try and get him into the more in the basketball space, especially from an NIL perspective. So like
Yep.
he's got my media covered. He's
Yep.
got a team. He's got shooters all over. So
Yep.
um, and then for me, right, like I have Elite Fit Connect. That's my platform. But for me, it's like it's more than just like the tech. It goes back to the community. It
Yep.
goes back to creating that environment so kids can just learn
Yep.
and learn things that they've never had the opportunity to learn because if if they're at this exposure camp, that means they're struggling getting to
Yeah.
that next level,
Yeah.
right? They don't have the right resources.
Right.
When it comes to NIL, right, like, that's another thing, the situation going on right now is, like, most of these kids are signing bad contracts. Most of these kids are just going where the money is.
Yep.
Most of these kids are just looking for the brands. Because not gonna lie, coming out of high school is like, "I need to play on a team that got Nike on it," you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But things like that is, like, just kids just don't know,
Right.
and it's not their fault. It's just they're not in the right situation to
They're
know.
unknown to it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'll send you that stuff, man.
Oh,
I
for
think we're
sure.
gonna start reaching out to high school coaches and just to like we're doing an application process. We're not just gonna admit everybody, right? We want to make sure that we bring in the right kids who
Yes.
already have that mindset of
Yes.
like it's gonna be tough, but I'm going to put in the work, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we're gonna be very, very particular.
I love that. I love that. That's the value.
If you had one thing just to say to anybody, whether it's kids, parents, coaches, leaders in the game, what would that be?
Man, continue to invest one in yourself, being a student of the game, even though, I've had a lot of success. Let me not say a lot of I've experienced a lot of things that coaches that have been coaching for 30 years have not experienced, from the regional championships, the state championship, the collective success, the amount of kids that are still signing scholarships out of high school. But the one thing that I continue to do is evolve myself and educate myself on how to be more for all of these young men. Continue to be vulnerable in having a circle that challenges you. Like I'm great with this. Summer's probably my second biggest critic, and sometimes it's not from the basketball piece. It may be from the approach to why I did something the way that I did it.
Yeah.
It makes me have to see a greater lens. I have a circle of individuals that are not yes men. Get the yes men out of your circle. And then the last thing I would say is, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't
Yeah.
be afraid to ask questions. Like, I tell myself this all the time. Ooh, great move, David Punch. Sorry. This TCU, are you watching this TCU game?
Yeah. No, you
It's
don't see
great.
my eyes like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the kid right here. Hey, you talk about another kid that wasn't, like, polished. Like, David Punch was not David Punch. Like, he was not, bro. We really, but anyway, I have to ask questions all the time, especially now, like, in this like, that's what I'm saying. Like, in this realm of sock, I didn't know. So I'm like, how does how does work? How you do this? What? Did is that? Ask questions, and I'm still young in my career, and I'm not afraid to ask, like, how can I manifest this, or what is the best way for us to be better with this? So take those three things, and one of the three, two of the three, all three, but just continue to evolve who you are physically, mentally. A lot of people don't know this about me this year, and I can be vulnerable and say this, man. I had a mild aneurysm this year, man. I had it happened twice, just from me, like, trying to be who I know we can be. And, like, like, I have to listen, like, you got to tone it down some, and you got to scale back, and, like, take a different lens. And that's where I say, like, I can be really good and vulnerable to my own self. So yeah, just continue to grow.
That's big.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, man, because
Yeah,
the
no, for
community
sure.
needs you.
It's crazy. It was a very, very, very crazy situation.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
whoa, all right, slow down, slow down.
Take care of yourself, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I think when people watch this, if they sit down, like, I think they're gonna take a lot from this.
Yes.
I mean, you've done a lot already in this short time you've been in the game, and
Yeah.
it feels like you've been in it for a long time, but
That's
you're
crazy,
still
man.
young.
It's
You're
crazy.
still young, so really looking forward to seeing you next year.
For sure.
I'm gonna keep in tabs, and we'll stay connected for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, get me tapped in with the ventures of the exposure camps. Anything that, like, can continue to grow you, like, I'm more than willing. Networks, like, let's both tap into the networks that we have. I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to, express some of these things. This is great. And if you could have me on another time, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I hope y'all really enjoyed this episode. It's more than a game. Coach Thompson, man, he's a GOAT already. So appreciate y'all.
So,
We'll see y'all next episode.
peace.